Today on Bachelor Party, it's a temperature check. Got to check in with Nora Princiotti, see how she's feeling about this season, how I'm feeling about this season, how we're feeling about winter. Let's do it. Let's batch. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. It's the B-side. We're just going to parse through things, just catch up on The Bachelor with my colleague and friend, Nora Princiotti. Hi, Nora.
Hi, Juliet. How are you?
I'm just jealous when you talk about The Bachelor on Bill's podcast. And then I'm just like, no, talk about it on Bachelor Party. So here you are. Great to have you. How are you enjoying Matt's season so far?
I'm really conflicted because I like Matt a lot.
I like Matt too.
But the way that the women are behaving is horrible. And
I know.
It's made the last 2 episodes genuinely unfun.
Genuinely unfun. I agree. I want to talk about Matt for a second. Did you see the viral video of Matt on the golf course with Tyler and friends?
Oh my gosh, I did not. I've only seen the viral video of Kevin Clark on the golf board. That's the only viral golf video I have seen recently. No, I'm totally catching me up. I totally missed this.
Nora's day job is NFL podcaster and reporter. So she's busy. The Super Bowl under 2 weeks away. You get a pass. Don't worry. It's being behind on this one. Here's what happened. Matt was playing golf with Tyler and some other pals, and you can hear his caddy, who I presume is like his friend, making fun of Victoria. It's a little unclear what was said, but I believe they were making fun of her appearance, and they were like, I think, making fun of her body and saying, and the caddy's like, and you're making out with this girl. And so they were like body shaming her and like look shaming her. And this is kind of like worst case scenario for a viral video for a lot of reasons. What's your initial reaction to this news?
That sucks. That sucks in the same way that the last 2 episodes of the season have sucked. Like, that's too mean. That's literally too mean. Like, she doesn't have control over that, right? Like, yeah. I feel I can sit here and say, I don't think Victoria's hair extensions are very good. And I think she should do without them. And I've identified that as the appropriate level of mean because she has not comported herself very well. And she can change that. That's within her power, right? But like attacking people based on things like her body, it's genetic. She's also thin. It doesn't matter.
Let's just start. Doesn't really matter. I just want to say it does not matter if she's thin or not. Like, who cares? It's besides the point. But I just want to say she is. And so to have such a narrow definition of like what body is like hot is very upsetting.
Right. And it's also reinforced by the fact that, she's in a crowd of women who are mostly like very 5'2" and tiny, 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 tiny. And yeah, no, it's just gross. Just don't do that. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. And also, this is why it's such a bummer. Matt did not say it, but this is,
that's good.
We're a week into the Biden presidency, so I'm sorry to be bringing up the former president, Donald Trump. But I will say, like, this kind of like concept of like locker room talk as a woman being like as bad as you fear is just very upsetting. So though Matt wasn't a part of it, the fact that like this is how some subset of men speak to each other when women are not around, like very, very much upsets me. And through 4 episodes, Matt has seemed to be a very gracious, kind, and warm guy. Like he really does. Like he seems like he's trying hard to be a nice man throughout this. And so for him to be implicated in this kind of like locker room talk video really bummed me out. Cause like, don't you just always hope that like the cliches aren't true? Like, aren't we just hoping that like that's not really how guys talk to each other? Not all guys, but a certain subset.
Totally. And I think everybody acknowledges, right, that like that happens sometimes.
Sure. Yes.
But I think what we hope, right, is that at a certain point in life, people realize that it's just not cool to be mean. Like it says so much more about you than the person that you're dissing or insulting or whatever. And that is so parallel, I think, to how some of the women have behaved, where it's just every stereotype about girls getting together and being catty and ganging up on people that, yeah, I think everyone has an experience that fits that mold.
Yeah.
But women aren't like that all the time. Like that is a horrible stereotype of groups of girls getting together and how that goes down. And It's just not like, it's not like that. I'm so happy. So that's why it sucks to see it on screen. It's because I think like the female version of that looks a lot like that. And that's the type of thing that like, I hope that guys don't sit around being like, well, no, you know, they must all be like that on some level when people are egging each other on or whatever. So
I know. It's just like, it's just so childish. Just so childish and awful. The other thing that makes me mad about it is Victoria objectively sucks. And I don't want to have to be in a position to like be defending her. And so I choose to not defend her because she is mean. And the way she's conducted herself is reprehensible. So I don't defend her, but I condemn these guys for acting this way. You know, it's just like, who wants to be like, don't say that about Victoria. That's not how I feel, actually. You could say whatever you want about Victoria. I just disappointed more broadly about body shaming. That's not cool.
Yeah, no, it's just lame. Like, talk about something else. You're having a nice day on the golf course with your friend. You can't find something more interesting to talk about than like, oh, you made out with a still conventionally attractive person on television.
Yeah. There's a lot of other chatter about Victoria's appearance. A lot of people comment on like asking if there's something wrong with one of her eyes. Does she have pink eye or something? I don't know. The Victoria situation is really a mess. We'll come back to that in 1 second. I just want to note regarding the golf before we move on from it. Moment by moment, day after day, I've talked about this a lot. I am astounded by the amount of sports and activity in Matt's life. Like I cannot get over it. Matt spends more hours being active per day than I spend at my computer per day. And I have a desk job, so I spend a lot of time at my computer. And I cannot get over it. It is such a foreign life to me. It's sort of like a dating profile come to life of like, I love to be active and like, I love warm cookies and I'm a weekend warrior and catch me going for a hike and then a bike ride and then playing golf. But that is Matt. I cannot get over it.
Endorphins, man.
They're a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
We've seen Matt drinking some champagne. Doesn't seem to be a huge drinker, but I do think that like what you're saying, there's something to it. Like I think he does get off on the endorphins of activity. And I'm like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like I still go for a bottle of wine, but like, it blows me away. I think I'm also like very aware of my sedentary lifestyle due to working from home because of the pandemic, but like, it's shocking. I can't get over it.
It is funny because I identify as like fake outdoorsy where I like to do like one activity, but the people like that who you go for a hike and then it's like, okay, now let's go to the lake and swim, but we're not going to lounge. We're going to like actively, I can get to that buoy before you can. Like those are the people that really put me back on my heels because I'm like, no, so I did that because I wanted to go home and have a snack and sit on the couch and have a beverage, please. Like, were we not on the same page here? So yes, Matt is he's a little intimidating in that regard, but I also love the idea of a super active man who like gets himself out of the house.
Oh yeah, sure. For those purposes, Matt seems great. Matt really does seem great. I like him. Do you like him?
I like him a lot. I started probably at a 10 out of 10 with Matt. He has, and I don't know if it's just because I've been in a bad mood because everybody's just yelling at each other and being gross, but he's done a couple things that, can I just complain about Matt for a second with the basic
Nora,
understanding that I like him a lot? Is this an open forum?
Of course.
Okay, great. Two things. And one, and this is very much like one as a white woman, but also just as someone who doesn't know him personally, like not for me to judge. There were 2 instances on the last episode where something that had to do with race, and it was Chelsea talking about her hair, and then it was Michelle talking about George Floyd and how her students processed it, where Matt responded by saying, I can't possibly imagine what that was like. And he gets it is thorny and probably inappropriate for me to ascribe the responsibility of like educating me or giving me a pretty packaged TV moment from him in terms of how he responds to that. He can do whatever he wants. But it did make me curious about the ways that he connects with people, because both of those women, I think, told us a lot about themselves in the moments when they were sharing those things. And that's just a phrase, like, I can't possibly imagine that. I always think that's an interesting one, because you want to communicate to people that you're not making assumptions about what they feel and go through and whatever, regardless of what the situation is. But it's also a little bit like isolating. Like, I couldn't possibly get that.
That's an interesting point. I think you're kind of differentiating between sympathy and empathy. And he's making it very clear he can't empathize, which is fine. But also, like, kind of, I think what's so weird about it is that, especially as it related to the Michelle conversation, it would have been interesting to hear Matt respond about his own experience during the protests of the summer of 2020, because he attended some. You know, there's some photos of him and Tyler. He attended some. So, you know, I think many, many, many Americans had an experience with the Black Lives Matter protests and the protests of the killing of George Floyd this past summer. And so, though he can't relate to like being an educator and being responsible for teaching young minds for whom this is not only a national story, but like a very local story, he does have experience as a Black man in America and also attending protests and being a part of the movement. So I think like it's a good point. Like, it would have been really interesting to hear from him what that was like for him. And they started this season, you know, confronting race, and Rachel Vann and I talked about like just how thorny and problematic the sit down with Chris Harrison was in episode 1, but they established that race was going to be a part of this season, but Matt hasn't been a part of it. Like, it's just sort of like been brought to him and he hasn't really engaged back.
Yeah. So it is not his responsibility to give more in that, but it was something that just my ears perked up, and I was like, I just have a hard time believing that you don't have a little bit more to give there.
Yeah, he seems genuinely worried about messing up. Like when there seems to be like a crisis of some kind, he seems like his face changes. Like, the fun drains out. This is a man who likes to have fun, and when he can't just have fun, it's like he doesn't really have that other gear. Not that he can't handle adversity, but like, he clearly does not want to not have fun, and so the stress and like the drama is like so not for him. It was just really funny because like, what does he think the show is?
Right. And also, my last relationship was 4 months long and ended because I didn't want it to be serious. Just saying. Okay, here's my other thing. It's far less substantial or important. He is a weird kiss initiator.
Oh,
like,
God,
they come out of freaking nowhere.
And
just like everyone's sitting having a nice time, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right.
So the kissing with his eyes open, that's been well documented. Very alarming. Although, like, have you ever gone out for dinner with someone who wants to see the door, wants to face outward?
Oh yeah,
so that they can always like see what's coming. They want their back to the door because they don't want to be surprised.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like this is similar. Like, he keeps his eyes open because he like wants to know what's going on. I don't know. Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Or he just,
someone might be sneaking up on him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be snuck up on while making out. That's my best guess here. I don't know. It's inexplicable. Or he's just not enjoying it. Or I don't know. Or he's like so enraptured by the beauty, he wants to like take it in from really close up. I don't know, Nora. I can't explain it. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's super weird. It's not natural. There's a reason why most of living humans make out with their eyes closed.
I'm laughing so hard. I'm starting to tear up. Juliet, you are pretty well sourced in this universe. If there is one thing I want you to use that power for, it's to figure out if Matt kisses with his eyes open because he is worried someone is going to sneak up on him.
I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to get in his mindset why you would do this. I am I am equally disturbed the way he leans in. It's like it's like he's on a SoulCycle bike and his back is flat at all times. And he's like leaning over from his waist, like from like his hips area.
But it's also it's because he chooses weird moments. It's like there'll be just a brief pause in conversation. Yeah, it's always a little bit like, whoa, what you doing there? But it's not like, I don't know. It's not like hot, I want to pounce right now soon. Like it's just, I don't think he seems like a bad kisser. He seems like a weird kiss initiator. And then the eyes open thing is some serial killer bullshit.
I think that also this whole sort of like weirdness around how he makes out is amplified for me by the fact that he licks his teeth and like plays with his jaw when he's really into someone. And so there's just like a lot going on in this region of his body. And it's just like a lot. It's just very overwhelming and a lot to parse. It would be really funny. Maybe we'll do this if we get lucky one day to break down tape of Matt going in for a kiss and then making out with Matt. Like, you know, like with X's and O's, Zara the Telestrator style. Like it would be hilarious because there's really a lot that you could ask questions about and to improve and to tweak. It's really weird.
Can this be a Ringer NFL show bachelor party crossover episode? We'll get some scouts in here.
They can totally. We got gotta get Danny Kelly in. He's got to really study. He'll be good. He'll be like a third party observer because he's not really into the show, as far as I know. Who I could always be surprised. It's just also I feel like Matt's pants are just like always ill-fitting. They were super tight and like just weird. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on a little bit to talk about some of the other people. We like Matt. We're generally pro Matt.
We like Matt, yeah.
You can't be perfect, but we support you. We'd like to hear more about your personal experience. Like, I haven't heard about Matt in weeks. Since week 1, I have not learned anything about Matt.
Right. No, those are literally my only 2 criticisms of Matt.
You know, he started at an astronomically high approval rating because he's so handsome and no one knew anything about him. It's like, you know, with the president, there's the only way you can go is down, right? It's like very hard to, once people get to know you, all that can happen is they can like you less. So that's how it goes, right? Interhuman relationships.
I actually feel like Bachelor lead or even contestant approval ratings probably do kind of mimic presidential ones because then once they're done, it's sort of like a slow climb where everyone's like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
Look who it is.
The two archetypes that you just cannot succeed. Well, 3 presidents, very hard. Bachelor leads, because like they just start put in these ridiculous situations. They get stressed out. It's just they get deprived of normal human interaction, sleep deprived, etc. And leads on WB shows. There was not a single good female lead on the WB television show. Joey Potter sucked. Rory Gilmore sucked. Lorelai Gilmore, loved her, but like you could object. I mean, they all blew. All of them. They just can't win in a teen show.
Wow.
As a female lead. You're a real basket case. Yeah, think about it. Okay, I want to move on. This past week, Chelsea won a group date. And we did not see the date at all for which she won. Like that, we have no idea what happened on that date. They skipped like a minimum of 8 hours. I saw a theory online that perhaps Peter and Kelly hosted that date. And so they were like the returnees or whatever. And so they just chopped it because Peter and Kelly are no longer together and it would have been weird. I don't know if I believe this theory, but I like this theory.
I like it too. Do you think they would have chopped it? Like, do you think that would have been reason enough to get rid of it?
No, I would have been like, keep it. It's a time capsule. It's great. I love it. So we're going to look back on so many things from the COVID era and be like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Or like, wow, I remember that. And it's funny because like it'll all be like these memories that you have like largely within like your pod or solo or however you're spending your days. You'll just have like so many like minutia moments to look back on and be like, wow, I can't believe that happened. But it's like something ultra boring. And that's like Peter and Kelly, who are super boring. They're like, wow, that happened. And their relationship felt very long, but it was short. It was from March to December. It was like almost a May-December romance.
Outlasted Claire and Dale.
Oh my God. Very sad. Very, very sad. It's time for Claire to move out of Bachelor Nation for good. Move on to a new country. Maybe she should just like leave America once it's an option. I don't know. It's not going great here for her dating life. Sometimes you got to mix it up.
I think you can find happiness in your current country. But hey, if you want to.
It's a whole wide world. All right, let's come back to the Victoria stuff. Rough. I hate Victoria. I was thinking, this is actually great to have you here. I was thinking about how we received the news of Victoria's shoplifting at a grocery store versus Jameis Winston's, and who time will look back on more kindly. If you recall, Jameis Winston, they both shoplifted from a Publix, in fact. And who do you think will be remembered better, Jameis Winston or Victoria? I also want to say this. I shouldn't really joke because I believe Jameis Winston was also accused of rape, so it's a lot more complicated with him. But I do actually feel like there's some sort of like weird connection here.
Well, I was going to bring that up with Jameis because my answer to your question is Jameis will be remembered more sympathetically and fondly, which is already complicated, right? Yeah. Because the nature of, and I'll fill in people who might not be football fans, Jameis Winston is like just going for it. So he throws a ton of touchdowns, but also a ton of interceptions. So just real boomer bust kind of quarterback. So I think because of that, and he also has outwardly sort of a funny, silly, goofball-y type of personality. Those are the characters in the NFL where people have a lot of fun with them and have a lot of fun talking about them. So that's sort of already the way that Jameis is viewed. And it has gotten to a point where it can be a little tough sometimes because, and I'm totally guilty of this. Like one of the things that I'm most fascinated with is that he got LASIK surgery over the offseason. And again, this is a guy who's made a bunch of big mistakes, which in football, especially for a quarterback, what you see and what you're looking at is hugely important. And I think that is one of the most fascinating things. Like I would love to see him get some extended playing time so that we can see if LASIK Jameis is actually better than pre-LASIK Jameis.
Didn't he have a touchdown in these playoffs this year?
Yeah, he did on a trick play.
Yeah.
And so playoff Jameis is fun. There is something undeniably fun about it. But then if you think about his history and know what that is, it's a little, we have short memories with these things, and that's not necessarily good. So the answer, I think, is Jameis because people respond to his personality a lot better than they respond to Victoria's. That is not necessarily a good thing.
No. But I will say, like, I can't believe I brought up Jameis Winston in relation to Victoria.
I love it.
Victoria is also doing like a weird like apology tour in cahoots with ABC. She went on GMA this week to like talk to Tamron Hall and like apologize. I have to say, I didn't watch it. I don't want to hear more from Victoria.
I didn't watch it either. I don't want to. I'm not interested. I don't
Me
think
neither.
That.
And I also want to say, I wouldn't watch a Jameis Winston apology either. I'm just like, whatever. If you're going to play football, fine, we'll watch. But like, Victoria, we have to see you on The Bachelor. That's enough. Like, I don't want to participate in her apology tour. She's really mean.
And also, we've watched this show for years. People do ridiculous things because they're in a stressful and weird and strange situation. They don't act like that.
I know.
So many people have gone through this process and they don't act like that. I don't think that you get to do reputational damage cleanup after the fact and be like, oh, well, I'm a different person off the show. Like, I'm sure you are to some extent, but we have years and years and seasons worth of evidence that that's not what happens when you enter the house. That says something about what she thinks is an okay way to act. And it's just not, it's also, as much as it sucks, it's also just not interesting. Like it's boring.
Agreed. It's overall boring. The things about Victoria, like the whole like ecosystem around her is like, honestly, there's more to parse there than what she said on the show because she's called other women whores, sluts, slurs, and dumb hoes. She called Sarah trash, and there's plenty of other Sarah issues, but like, it's just like, that's not how you treat people. And then she is fighting for her right to like quote unquote express herself, but that just means be mean. And it's just like, it's so juvenile and stupid. And she sucks. I mean, also like, you know, she's going for fame. I think this is a lot who she is. Everyone's like, no, she's an actress. And some of the evidence is that she was seen on an episode of $1 Million Listing LA. And like has like Pretoria home like in the background. And it's like, that proves nothing to me. Like, whatever. I don't think it's hard to go on a tour for $1 Million Listing LA. I think it proves she wants to be famous and like associated with wealth, but like that's about it. I just think like this actually is probably a lot of who she is, that she has felt comfortable enough through 4 episodes. Like, this is how I'm going to be on TV. Cool, let's do it.
I haven't heard someone say the word in air quotes, slore, since 2009.
I've never heard it. This was my first time. She introduced it to me.
Congratulations. What a moment for you, Juliet. No, some of this stuff you don't come up with on the spot. Like that's coming from inside of you. The call is coming from inside the house. Like it's just ridiculous.
She really sucks.
Also, something about when like having the impulse and also the gall to remove an item like a crown from somebody else's
oh my god
person.
that made me furious and also like physically uncomfortable. I wanted to punch her through the screen.
Yeah,
I just did a punch.
And
you
I
guys
don't
can't
think it was very, by the way, could have used some of that on the boxing date.
Boxing Day was literally a snooze. I literally fell asleep during it. I had to like go back and watch it again.
I know that they're like up against some constraints here, but they've got to stop doing these fighting dates.
I know. It's like so silly because either someone gets hurt or nothing happens or both, as we've now seen 2 times, essentially. Like
usually both.
Yeah. It's just like, no, thanks. That was a real rough one. No, thank you.
But they've done this like 5 times at this point. And it
2 seasons in a row
ends the same way. Right. And I feel like I remember some other ones from seasons past. And
I didn't expect COVID to be this bad for the Bachelor creative. I really didn't. Just like, I don't know, like for some reason it's not as big of a trouble in Paradise, but like, I don't know. I just like, this is not entertaining. I didn't know that I needed a trip to Peru so badly.
But they're also pretty creative in other ways. Bill and I were talking about this too. I may be in the minority here. I don't care that they're in one place. It's really not bothering me that much. I think it's funny that they made them kayak in hollowed out pumpkins. Like I enjoyed that.
I thought that was funny as well. I think that there's just something to the the visual monotony of the hotel lobby that I'm like kind of sick of.
Sure.
And this happened with the La Quinta. I was like, I never need to see Spanish tile ever again. This is like, I never need to see the foliage is beautiful. I'm like, I never need to see a grand like lobby ever again. I don't know. I'm kind of like not into hotels is one of my personal takes. And this is reinforcing it for me. I just prefer like an Airbnb. I prefer just like a standalone unit. I mean, obviously the caveat is like a really fancy hotel. I'm certainly very into luxury. I accept, but like, I just don't know that this like this like kind of like hotel experience is really that captivating. I do think that like the woods of Nemacolin look very nice.
Yeah. I like having a fall aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty unusual for The Bachelor.
Yeah. Although we'll say it just came out yesterday. Next season of The Bachelorette is filming in Alberta, Canada. They're starting like in March.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Wait, you just broke that news to me. And I self-identify as a winter person.
Oh, great.
Which I know is unusual. Oh
sure.
My gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm like enjoying myself right now in the cold weather of New York.
Every time. So I've lived in the Northeast my entire life. Every time I see snow, it is like I've never seen snow before. So that is fantastic news to me.
Oh my God. I like for this current winter, I like to blast 'Tis the Damn Season or Exile and like watch snow as it falls.
Yes. Like
I couldn't be lamer.
With a glass of red wine.
Yeah. I mean, just like the first time it snowed in December, I haven't experienced a snowfall like this in many years. I stayed up late and stood at the window and just watched. I had a great time.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I could not possibly relate to this more. And typically when you're watching The Bachelor, they gear much further towards like sunny beach.
Yeah. Well,
everybody
I think in general, the bikini. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You know what else is really underrated in this life is a winter beach walk. It's just like the best.
Absolutely the best. And there's always wind and you feel very dramatic and like out of a novel. It's incredible. It's just fantastic. It's also winter clothes. I know like bulky coats bother people.
I look way better in winter clothes. That's for sure. No. My dream,
I have better hair in the winter too.
Oh, totally. It's dry, right? I have two quick personal anecdotes, then we'll move on. One, I was recently on Cape Cod in January, and I just like went to a beach, and I discovered like 40 surfers surfing in the Atlantic Ocean, and it was incredible. I was like, first of all, you guys are fucking crazy, and it was just like I had like discovered like a secret. There was like a secret surfing society, and I absolutely loved it. And like I think about it all the time. It's really cool. I wish I was like a good photographer and taking pictures of it. Number two, what was my second winter anecdote? What were we saying?
Hair is better in the winter. Dry. Beach walk.
I can't remember. I'm so overwhelmed by my
Wind.
surfing anecdote. I can't recall.
You know what? It holds its own. It stands up solo. Probably much like those surfers.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, yes, we're doing The Bachelorette in Canada. All of the trips to Canada from the Bachelor franchise I can recall have been very good. Like they went to Lake Louise, I recall. That was very scenic. I feel positive about it. I mean, a lot of good Canadians on the show. Like, it's going to be good.
This is exceptional news. Like, really nothing. The two things that you've said have made me just unbelievably happy. And it's that Matt kisses with his eyes open because he doesn't want to be snuck up on. And this piece of information. Wow, I can't wait.
Alberta, let's do it. I mean, yeah, it should be great. I wonder if like Gillian Anderson will appear because she not Gillian Anderson, Gillian from Gillian Harris. I'm like completely out of my mind today. Gillian Harris, because she lives in Vancouver where she's like a local celeb. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't remember exactly how we got here. I also just want to mention that someone DM'd me to say that the hot tub we keep seeing that Matt cuts the wood for, like you literally do have to cut wood for it every time for it to work. And that sounds awful. I was like, should I get this hot tub? And the answer is no, because it's so much work. But for Matt, it's perfect. It's like you earn your hot tub because you have to like do activity beforehand. I feel like he'd be really into that. So maybe he'll buy it for Tyler's backyard in Jupiter.
I'm going to say something that embodies the meme where it's like the feminism leaving my body when I have car trouble. But I don't want to do that, but I would like to watch a man do it for me.
I don't even want to do that. I don't have to plan getting into the hot tub an hour beforehand to make sure it's warm. I just want to make sure it's warm and get in. Like, what the fuck?
But then it's like, what the smell of burning wood.
I don't know. Get a fire pit nearby. Just get in a nearby fire pit. Seems really solvable.
All right. I'm pro this hot tub.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. All right. Anyway, I don't know. Victoria, she sucks. Who are you into? Who are your faves? I haven't gotten any of your Bachelor takes other than what I heard on Bill's pod.
I really like Rachel. She was my night one. Oh, I think this girl's going to go really far. Mm-hmm. Michelle hadn't really gotten anything from until this past episode, but she was great.
She was awesome.
They just seemed like, okay, do you guys
fast friends? she was a college athlete, which is definitely really good for Matt. Like, she seemed fun. She seemed like easy to be around. I really liked her too. I liked her.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone's like, oh, Michelle, no brainer.
Yeah. That seemed very obvious to me. She also, in a good way, gave me the same question that I have about Matt, which is sort of, why are you on the show?
I know. I'm just sort of like, and also, how are you on the show? It was filming in the school season, in the school year, like in October, November. So how do people get leave? I'm going to be honest, Nora. If someone in the Ringer was like, hey, I need 2 months off to go on The Bachelor, I would be like, well, do you have enough vacation days? And if the answer is no, I'd be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. Like, how do people get this vacation time?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
It's bizarre. Okay.
I really don't know.
What is this, Europe with these lenient vacation policies? I don't get it.
What is this, Europe?
I do love Europe after all. But okay, so you're into Michelle, you're into Rachel. I just want to note Rachel is very problematic, but that will come up probably as the season goes on. I told Kevin O'Connor about this
disappointing.
Too. Yeah.
So I have to admit that I'm a little, because of where we are in football season, I'm a little like, I watch every episode live, but I'm a little out of the discourse.
It's okay. That's what I'm here for, to be the discourse for you. She has just bad Instagram activity of liking racist pictures and being in pictures that have like cultural appropriation. So it's not great. It's not great.
Fantastic.
No. It's not great. I agree with you. Rachel's going far. Rachel is the classic. Why are you on this episode? You've done nothing, girl. And you're like, okay, a lot of shots of Rachel for no reason. I do not get it, but whatever.
She's also very good at wearing a lot of makeup without looking like she has clown paint on her face.
Totally.
Which on television is a useful thing to pull off. This is also, I think she rubs people the wrong way in some ways. There's definitely a point in my life in which she would have really intimidated me. I like Kit.
Oh, I
want to see more from Kit.
I
really
Kit
like
too.
her.
I also would be very intimidated by Kit. There's no question about that. Kit, I've discovered some of the like style Instagram accounts that tell you what everyone's wearing. And Kit is basically exclusively wearing Cynthia Rowley. So she's also like very brand savvy, repping for her family. But I agree with you. I like Kit. She seems funny and smart. Not sure why she's on it. You probably don't follow Kit on Instagram, but it seems like she's having a great time hiking in LA. She's just like living it up.
I do follow her. She gets her steps in.
Yeah, she sure does. She's definitely not a winter person because she's just like loving this Los Angeles winter sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I followed her, I was hoping for a little bit more of New York centric activity, but
like a cute hat.
Yeah. But I think it seems like she's living a nice life. I don't fault her for being in Los Angeles.
I like Kit too. She was kind of in the Mean Girl cabal last week, but like when Sarah was still here, but she's gotten better.
It really bummed me out when she said that if you like your experience here is going to be really bad.
Yeah, I know.
Like because that was just too far. Like it's a completely shitty thing to say to someone. And then she posted something about it on her Instagram and was like, I should have been so much more compassionate. And sure, hindsight 2020, like I still don't like, I just don't think it's very hard to not behave like that, even in a group, because, and by the way, I think a lot of the women are not comporting themselves very well because they're just not saying anything. Like Katie is the only one who is speaking up at all to say that this is becoming a toxic environment. But at the very least, you can just not say anything. So I don't give her a pass for that. But I want to see her interact with Matt more.
Kit?
And just to get a little bit more from Kit, because I do like her. And I should follow those Instagram accounts, because one thing that's bothered me is that I want to see, I feel like the camera operators owe us, because she dresses so well, a full head to toe shot of every outfit at some point. Like, come on, guys.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you. There's a lot. I mean, between Chelsea and Kit, I mean, the two of them are just rocking it with the style.
Yes.
I liked how Matt called Chelsea's dress the Bam Bam dress, which I've never heard before. Okay. Sure. Kit is also another one who I'm just like, she has some good quips, but I also am just like, are you going far? Like, what? You haven't done much, but you're kind of on the show a lot. I have to say, like, we waste so much time on Victoria and Anna that there seems like there's still 20 women here, and we don't know like most of them. Like, I can't tell you anything about Jasenia. I can't tell you anything about like about Chelsea, very little about Lauren. Like, we don't get to learn about any of these other women. And I do feel like one of the lessons of kind of like the feel goodness around Tayshia's season is we learned a lot about a lot of guys. And like everyone really liked that as far as I can tell. And for some reason, like that has totally evaporated. Like we're not learning about these people except for the ones who've had one-on-ones. And even then it's like you see them once, then it's like 40 minutes devoted to Victoria. And like, it just really sucks. She blows. Like she's all-time bad, not even fun.
We should make sure, though, that we're not 100% just putting this on Victoria, because Anna sucks, too.
Anna sucks big time.
Anna sucks big time, too. Like, that was not cute either.
I can't forgive calling someone an escort, obviously. I think, like, ridiculing someone for being a bottle girl is also really bad. It's a job, okay? At least it's
totally.
I mean, it's like being a server at a club is a job, and also one where you put up with a lot of harassment and like annoying drunk people who are just like, pour my drink, and like guys hitting on you. And so let's have some respect for women who work at clubs and pour drinks for you. I appreciate it, honestly. I'm happy to not make my own drink.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to frame this completely cynically and just about how these people present themselves, because it also just matters what you think and feel regardless of whether there's cameras on, you're on TV or whatever. But it made her seem beyond mean and cruel and judgmental and inappropriate. It made her seem just really like someone with a very, very, very narrow worldview. Like it honestly kind of shocked me that many people who must be on some level image conscious, sort of aware of the ways that people talk about issues online, kind of a certain like online millennial way of thinking, and the types of things that are part of those conversations, to have such a like to have an exclusively bad impression of someone being an escort or of sex work or like whatever it is. It seemed like a very, very, very dated,
I agree,
way of thinking. And it was like not, this just wouldn't play well. Like there are so many more significant issues with it than that, but it sort of confused me. I was like, your average influencer is going to understand that people don't like this. Like people don't like the way that you're talking right now.
It was like very cruel, and obviously just she clearly felt threatened by I don't even know what. There's so many women there. Like just let Brittany, get to know Matt just like everyone else. And then some receipts came out, and there are photos of Anna at one of her previous jobs working as a server at a bar. And it's just like, who are you to call someone a bottle girl when you too have been a server at a place where alcoholic beverages are served as the primary item? So it's just like, back off, like let Brittany live. And having to spread rumors about her is just like really mean. I really felt bad for Brittany. I think I felt not as bad for Brittany as I did for Sarah in the moment, because Brittany seemed to really kind of have a lot of poise and handle it pretty well. I mean, not to say that, and she shouldn't have to, right? But she held it together really impressively. Whereas like, if anyone came at me in front of a group of women, let alone on camera, I probably would like crack and turn into like an Alex Mack style puddle. And it would just be really sad. And it would just be like, and I would just be like, okay, well, that's the end of me. I'm leaving now. Brittany handled it really well.
She definitely has, she can stand up for herself. She's, she was the one who kissed Matt immediately. So it seems like she has a little bit of go-getterness that's probably helpful in that kind of situation. But it's so, also the fact that somebody just DM'd Anna and she was like, I have proof.
That's a lie. That's just a lie. I don't know how she got that info.
It's just, you made
that
a lie. Up.
Yeah. Someone told you to say that, maybe. I don't know. Back to Brittany and Matt's kiss for a second. I thought that was a pretty weird kiss. Obviously, he was like taken aback, but it was just like very like hurried or something. It was like a lot of like head movement. And I don't know. I was just like, oh, awkward. He also didn't really seem like he liked it that much.
Well, he was probably really surprised, but he's also, so they're standing up and he's really tall.
Yeah.
So it's like logistically kind of complicated. I don't know. If she had done it night one, I definitely would have hated it. My only argument for it is just that she knew that she was coming in as part of the second batch and needed to do something. Like I do buy that. But to be a little bit of a sap, you also wasted your first kiss.
I know.
With him.
It's like, true. It's true. You can't get that back.
Yeah. So I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I like her in general.
I was kind of shocked that Lingerie Girl went home so soon. She's Kaylee. She's now gone. I thought that would earn you some more time. Although I don't know, perhaps just there's no mystery because she's already been seen in her lingerie. I was just surprised by that. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is the thing where it's like, and I don't know what's happening in the footage that we don't see, but there is so much drama that I think a bunch of them, like, what else did we get from her? Really? Like, we don't know anything about her. So there's no one, like, I take your point, but there are very few people who have gone home where I've been like, oh, I'm surprised.
Shocked. Yeah. We just don't know much about anyone. Although I'm trying to think, like, do you ever? But I think there's just so many women, more than usual, as they've pointed out several times, that usually by this point you're like, oh, it's actually down to like 15 or 13 and you can like ignore 6 of them and really dig in on 9 of them or whatever. But I'm just like, I feel like all over the place. I don't know where to really put my attention. Like, should I be investing in Brie? Should I be investing in Abigail? Should I be investing in Rachel? Should I be investing in Michelle? Like, who else? I mean, obviously Katie, we all love Katie. She's very winning. We love Vibrator Girl. She's no longer Vibrator Girl. She's Katie. Kevin O'Connor and I talked about this. Against all odds, she was able to shed the Vibrator Girl name and identity and just became a full woman. She's Katie. It's great. It's honestly like kind of a miracle.
I mean, on the other hand, though, is it really a shock?
No. I believe you tweeted about this.
One person is a little bit more relaxed after X amount of time than the others.
She did.
I don't know. We might be able to offer a theory.
She did say she was going to lend it out. I don't know if she has
Katie,
been.
Please don't. Katie.
Or just get some condoms over that thing.
No.
I'm just joking.
Be doing that.
I'm just joking. But she did say she was going to share it. So perhaps, who knows, in the future. I just,
Katie, please, you have all this goodwill.
Keep all of it to yourself. But yeah, there's just sort of like a lot of people left that I'm like, could he be into her? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell exactly who he's into. Other than Michelle and Abigail, I don't think I've seen him seem like that into anyone. He clearly had a good time with Brie and with Serena, and seems like he's into Rachel. Gave Chelsea Rose this week too. But I don't feel like there's a lot of like visible chemistry with Matt and anyone so far.
So I've felt, and this is why this is one reason why it sucks if she is problematic and not a good person, but I feel like he vibes with Rachel.
Yeah, he seems into her. I mean, she cried about the prayer. I think that really will look back on this season as like, oh, Rachel was really into the prayer. Of course, she's in the final 4.
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of his life and it touched her. So if they have that connection, it's a really big deal. I mean,
yeah.
He's means a lot to him. So, and apparently it might mean a lot to her too. I don't know. I like Brie. I think she's just like, all things considered, my favorite so far. She seems like a cool girl.
I think Michelle is my favorite.
I think that's a common sentiment. People seem really into Michelle. I liked her too. And I think it's really cool. She's a teacher. Brie worked at Facebook. I confirmed that after speculating. Now I think she's just kicking it. Seems like she's been on vacation. Who's not? You know, we're all just sort of in some kind of mental vacation over the mind. I don't know.
What is this, Europe?
What is this, Europe? Just COVID, man. So weird. It's definitely weird. Also, it's going to be funny to go back and think about different phases of COVID based on like where we were with the Bachelor cycle. And for I mean me, because I look back at like when Matt was announced back in June, and I was recently revisiting the episode Rachel and I did about that. And it was like a hypothetical. I was like, who is this Matt? It was just going to be the first Black Bachelor. And now we're living it. And just, it happened so quickly, but yet COVID persists. So it just is like super weird. I mean, obviously everything from these COVID months will just be perceived differently than anything else in the history of time. But it is very funny to be like living through it, I guess.
It's very strange. It's also very strange even that like we would have had a version of this conversation so many months ago and we're still having it.
I know. It's a real downer.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. All right. Nora, thank you so much for joining me for that. I just wanted to, I feel like I needed a check-in to see how you were feeling about the show. Now I know. Listen to the Ringer NFL show with more with Nora Princiotti. And I'll be back on Monday. I've got 2 more football media people coming in. I've got...
Oh, wow.
Mina Kimes, and Mike Golick Jr., the big three, me, Mina, and Mike. So please tune in and talk to you then.